get started, first I'm going to start off with a word of prayer. If you bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us together. Thank you for sharing, giving us your grace, your mercy, and your favor. Lord, we need more of it, and we need it right now. We know that we can do all things through you, and as we begin to move forward to try to glorify your name and praise your name in this city and give you all the praise, we just want you to know, Lord, we just need you so much. We just thank you so much because you are our all in all. This we say in Jesus' name, amen. Every morning ain't the same, y'all. It's maybe one in the morning. I know how it's supposed to always be. Politics is always supposed to come in with a bright smile on the face, shaking hands and kissing babies. Well, I don't know. Some elders told me if you live long enough, you're gonna see some other type of days. But I want to thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you so very much. This is the Community Solutions meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to try to come up with some of the solutions for what we need to do in this city. It's also to try to provide a little more information regarding what this administration has done in the past and is hoping to do in the future. It's also just an opportunity for us to get together and have a frank but respectful discussion about some of our issues. It is not a venting session, so please be respectful of each other. Please limit your comments because the simple fact is we only have so much time. I'm going to try to cover everybody and everything, but one thing that I've learned so far in this job is running for the office is easy, governing is a totally different thing, okay? And if we were to sit back and talk about every single issue in this city, we would be here until this time next year. So if I don't, by any chance, cover your issue, we have more meetings. If I don't cover your issue or something doesn't get addressed, please don't leave with a bad taste in your mouth, talking about when they didn't do this, that, and the other. We are really trying to get to you. We have, let's say, the harvest is ripe, the laborers are few, and we are trying to get as much done as we possibly can. So this here in itself is a long presentation, so I'm going to try to run through it as best as I can. If you have questions that are pertinent to what's on the screen at the time, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll recognize you, and we can get into a little bit of discussion on that regard. This one is much longer than even the last one. So first I wanted to cover transparency because I wanted to cover what that means. When Barack Obama became president of the United States, he talked about transparency during his campaign. Government needs to be more transparent. When we talk about healthcare, we should put the healthcare discussions on C-SPAN. Does anybody remember when he said that? We should put healthcare discussions on C-SPAN because we want to be more transparent. There's a lot more things that your government is not telling you that you need to know. That's what he was talking about, transparency. So he won. And I was happy on that day, and I was happy 4 years later that he did. But one of the things that I realized is that even though he promised, hi sir, how are you? Even though he promised transparency, there was a certain thing that came along with it also that was called wisdom that he had to use. So when Congress decided that they wanted to spend $15.33 on a hammer, he did not give a speech in front of Congress to let us know that he was spending $15.33 on a hammer. When the White House decided to set, did that make him less transparent? Because he did not do that. I don't believe so. I don't know what you think, but I don't believe so. So I bring that all to heart. because there have been discussions about transparency in the city of Harvey under this administration. So let's have a conversation real quick, just for a few minutes. Now, we have tried to be transparent as we possibly can with the resources that we have. And for those of you who have lived in Harvey for quite some time, or have been here at least for the past 20 to 24 years, you know those resources are very few. So we have to figure out, do we want to spend time and resources on one thing versus time and resources on another? That doesn't mean that we shouldn't be transparent, but I'm going to say this. Prior to May 14th, 2019, very few, if any, people could get up to that podium and make a statement for those that came to the city council meetings. The majority of the time, when someone wanted to make a statement, the council would run through executive session. You'd stay out here for at least an hour or so. If you stayed and you came back, they'd move to adjourn, and you'd never get a chance to speak your mind. Okay? Now you have that. Now we changed the time and we put it in the front of the meeting versus in the back of the meeting, at the end of the meeting. Two reasons. One, we should hear from you first. That way, if you have something that you have to say, and say for instance, you got to go pick up the grandkids, you can actually say what you need to say and go pick up the grandkids. You don't have to wait all the way to, because our meetings used to last 2.5 to 3 hours. Did anybody forget that? Okay, because I ain't getting no call and response here. And I know that y'all was there.
4 hours.
Yes, 4 hours sometimes. And now you're waiting 4 hours to speak to your government about issues that concern you. So instead of having you wait till the end of the meeting, 4 hours later, we put it up front. The other thing we did, we were trying to give you an opportunity to speak on the issues before we vote on them. Now, some would prefer that you speak on the issues after we vote on them. I don't quite understand it. I really don't. But that's just me, and it's just my opinion. But if you are getting ready to do something, and I can talk to you before you do it, versus talking to you after you've done it, I would prefer to talk to you before you did it. So the way that you get an opportunity to speak to the 6 people who sit around these tables and the people that sit up there is you get an opportunity to address that beforehand. So that is the reason why in the last meeting I said all future comments will be directed at agenda items only. Okay? Now, the alderman used to get the packets. I wish there was another alderman here, or one that used to be, but they'll come in. The alderman used to get their packets on the Friday before the meeting at 4:30 p.m. City Hall closes at 5. So if we didn't get in there to those mailboxes downstairs within that 30-minute window, if the judge kept me over in chambers or there was something going on with a client and I'm trying to get here from downtown, if I don't get within that 30-minute window, guess what? I don't get my packet. That means I don't have a packet on Saturday, I don't have a packet on Sunday. Monday, I gotta get here, hurry up and get the packet and try to get it all read and done and any questions answered. Currently, the city council has gotten their packets earlier. Now, it's not the ideal situation, I'll tell you right now. It's not the ideal situation. But they've gotten their packets on Thursday, they've gotten their packets on Wednesday too, is that correct? Before the meeting. At least 2 more days before what the usual was, to provide more opportunity, to provide more transparency, and to provide you as the residents an opportunity to see that this area here, I believe this area is too high. I believe that it should be lowered, and I believe that we should all be on the same level. Does anybody remember reading that by any chance, me saying that? Because that's what I said. So here it is, 59 days in, and that's still up. So I guess that's a failure of this administration, because we didn't come in here and use the $15.33 we had in the bank and use it to lower the dikes. I say these things because we are in some serious times. We have some serious issues and we need serious people. And the things that I said, or at least the majority of what I just said, to me were juvenile. And we have no more time for juvenile behavior. Really, we don't. And if we are going to major in minors, then we might as well stay exactly where we were before. Now, if you want to have a serious discussion about government and moving this city forward, I will have that discussion with you 24 hours a day. She'll tell you, I talk to people too long. That's why I'm afraid to talk to you this afternoon, because I know I'll be here for three hours enjoying every moment of it. Because I love what I do. I love being able to serve you. And I love being a Harvey resident. But we have to start to get serious. So as we start to move forward, and let's not get tied up or bind ourselves in majoring and minors. Let's look at the big picture, because there's some big picture things going on here. And I'm going to start to address them in a minute. But one of the reasons why, if during the campaign, you didn't hear much from me talking about all of the negative environment that was created, is because that's just not the way that I was raised. Period. My grandparents, who were born during the Depression, told me, you let your work speak for itself. I don't have to explain how I'm gonna put that nail in that piece of wood. I got to build the house. And we are in the process of house building right now. So I want to go over a few things so we can get some clarity and then we'll move on. This is going to be real brief. Role of the mayor. The mayor is the official head of the city. You must have leadership. And if by chance, I'm going to apologize in advance, I contradict myself on some things, because you're like, well, Clark, that ain't what you said 4 years ago. You're right. That's not what I said 4 years ago. But from year one to year now, I've changed. From year one to year now, I've matured. And from year one to now, I've been able to experience and see things differently than what they were. We have two lives. The lives that we learn with and the life that we live with after we learn. So when you try to jump at me because I said this 4 years ago, I'm not Joe Biden. Okay? Don't try to hold that on me. We're trying to move forward and make some things happen now. This is the role of the mayor. He is the official head of the city. He has veto power. So if the legislative branch decides that they want to pass an ordinance or a resolution or some other legislative measure, the mayor has veto power. And for those, you can either go on the Illinois compiled statutes, okay, in the words of my very good friend, we miss him so much, Mr. Nunn, chapter 65, article 5. You can go and you can read it for yourself, okay? And you can go to our Harvey City Code, the municipal code, and you can read it for yourself. I tried to put it in brief. So if it had a comma in there and I didn't put the comma in there, don't get mad. Because this is where we major in minors. Has the power to vote as provided in the case of a tie. So if we have 3-3, then the mayor can break that tie. Can appoint and remove all officers before the civil service commission. Okay? I'm gonna say that again. Can appoint and remove all officers, department heads, commissions, boards, and agencies except those covered by the Civil Service Act. Because that's becoming a bone of contention. Were you raising your hand? Yes, ma'am.
I was just thinking that's without approval from anyone else. You have that authority without approval.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. There are very limited circumstances, like I think when I appointed Chief Winters, he had to come before. The lawyer has to come before. I have the right to, in all cases, I think, except for 3 limited cases, where I have to get consent and approval from the council. Now, mind you, and let's make this clear. For those who know me, okay, because I am transparent, regardless of what somebody wants to say. Okay, I was raised by a single mama. My daddy has 13 kids. Okay, there's 13 children, 10 of them who live in Arkansas. The rest of my family stays in Arizona. So Arizona and Arkansas mostly. We got a few sprinkled out here, like in Minnesota, something like that. Okay, but ain't none in the city of Harvey. Don't none live in Homewood, none live in Glenwood, none live in Flossmoor, none live in South Highland. It's just little old me. I'm not hiring my family to be in these positions. So if I go get a qualified person to do a qualified job, honestly, in my opinion, I'm saying to myself, well, I don't understand what the problem is. Because I'm going to get a qualified, well, he need to live in Harvey. Well, he need to do this, that, and other. I get it, because I was here longer than some of y'all. Not all of y'all though. I see some of y'all know there, something like that. Y'all been here a while. But the bottom line is, there's nothing below the table or below board. That man right there, our new chief, he got just as many, if not more decorations than almost every person on the doggone force. No offense to the rest of the police officers that serve us. He has a lot of experience and knowledge, and we are grateful to be able to have him. He does not live in the city of Harvey. I understand that. But if you go look at most of the police force don't live in the city of Harvey. We needed a good person. And as your mayor, yeah, because you elected me to be that, I made the decision that that's who we need. And he is doing tremendous, remarkable things. But I also have faith in every other person sitting over there. And some of those people are people who you already knew. And I've gotten an opportunity to see them flourish and grow under a different managerial and administrative environment. So, but this is what I do, but you're not gonna see my family there. So don't worry, it's gonna be all right. You're not gonna see my family, you're not gonna see my friends. And for those who wanna know my friends, let me tell you who my friends are. My best friend's name is Jay. That's my best male friend. My best female friend's name is Ortharine. You can write it down. Now if you see Ortharine or Jay in there, you got a problem. Okay? Sheila, which I don't know if some of y'all know Sheila Ray or not, but you know what I'm saying? That's another one of my best. If you see her in there, you got a problem. Those are my friends. Those are the people that I hang with and kick it with if I ever hang and kick it. Which I don't do. Because I spent 14 hours here. So there's nothing below board on what we're trying to do. And that's what I'm trying to get you to understand when going through these responsibilities. Exercise this control of all departments and divisions. The aldermen do not exercise control of all departments or all divisions. So yes, and now I'm going to put something on me. If you need to have your potholes filled, we want you to call your alderman. But at the end of the day, I am responsible. I got to get it done. I got to get it done. Some people would say, well, don't do that. Don't say that, because that's not politically expedient. But now I'm taking responsibility for something, and if I fail in doing it, then I have to be accountable for it. But I did talk about transparency, oversight, and accountability. So I have to be accountable for it. And I understand that we have issues, but the mayor exercises control of all departments individually. So these things here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things are in your Illinois compiled statutes and also a part and varies in our city code. 6 things. Role of the city council. This is also in the compiled statutes. It's also in the city code. Purely legislative, which means that when you have an issue, you want a law, you want something changed, you want something to be a particular way that affects your life, daily. I talked last meeting about the fact that I have a no sagging ordinance, actually in that computer right there, that I wrote about 4 years ago. Your city council does that type of work, where I recommend to the council to pass laws. They're in the business of actually passing. That is what they're supposed to be doing. No, it is not their responsibility. It really isn't their responsibility to cut grass. And when I was an alderman, it used to just really irritate me how people would call the city hall and then the employees would say, well, you need to call your alderman because he's responsible for cutting the grass. That wasn't true. Prior to me becoming alderman, yeah, it might have been because they had $50,000 to do so. But I didn't get $50,000, so I didn't understand how I got the responsibility of cutting the grass with no funds in order to do so. Purely legislative, it's 1. 2, they approve for payment of all expenses and liabilities of the municipality. 3, they establish committees which recommend laws to the full council. So, they're purely legislative. They pass the laws, they pass the ordinances, the resolutions. They approve for payment of all expenses and liabilities of the municipality. They establish committees, and actually, if you read the code, it says they may establish. So they don't have to establish, but they can if they choose to do so. That's it. Here you go. So I'm going to be talking about this over and over again, probably at each and every meeting, because I want to make sure that people understand the roles of the mayor, the roles of the council, and what it is we're trying to do here. And just let me add also on a note, because I said at the last meeting, our next city council meeting, it is a business meeting. City council is a business meeting. We have a community solutions meeting, we have ward meetings. We have other functions, we have other opportunities to speak to each other about issues and concerns. We are trying to develop a system right now where if you have other concerns or comments or suggestions, that we can actually get those. But in our business meeting, we have to make sure that we are conducting business. So yes, it's not going to be the same way that it was before. And as the chairman of the meeting, I'm going to take control of that in order to make sure that happens. Now there are some people who are not going to like it, they're going to buck up against it because because change is hard. And if you've been doing something the same way for so long, some people even get accustomed to doing it the wrong way. But the city council meeting is our business meeting. It is a presentation of who we are to the world. When we have a business person who decides that they want to take a chance on the city of Harvey, and they come to our business meeting because they believe it's a business meeting, and they come to our business meeting and we got all this extra stuff going on, that's not a good look. You ever went to the bank to get a loan? What you do when you go to the bank to get a loan? That's right, you dress it to impress, okay? You're making sure you got all the proper documentation. You're doing everything you need to do because you want to put on a good impression for the person that you're getting ready to do business with. Those city council meetings are the same way. We're getting ready to do business. Okay? You can holler, fuss, and cuss at me if you want to later outside the meeting. But while we're in the meeting, let's take care of the business, please. And we need to be respectful of each other. And that goes for those who agree with me and those who don't agree with me. We all need to be respectful of each other in our meetings. Let's handle our business, and then after we handle our business, we can discuss the other things later. Because if and when a grocery store decides to come here to the city of Harvey, I do not want to bring a grocery store representative to the council meetings the way that they used to go. I don't want to have a grocery store representative here in a 4-hour meeting. But what you may not also may not know, or some of you may, is that sometimes people from other businesses will just come to our meetings without even telling us to see how we conduct ourselves. So we gotta tone down the rhetoric. We have to tone down the venom and the vitriol. It is getting us nowhere. It is getting us nowhere. We have to take care of it. So, before I continue, any questions on that? Yes, ma'am.
Not so much on that, but on the idea of the podium being eye level. I have sat in the back, and if everybody is eye level, I can't see. Okay, and then why would we be paying for that and we don't have any money? It would be better to clean the carpet. Two, could we possibly have a copy of the agendas of the previous meetings when we come in, or outside, that we can pick up, so that we can see not so much the meeting as a whole, but we would like to know how each alderman voted on each issue, their name and which way they voted, so that we can see exactly who's voting for stray dogs and who's voting against stray dogs and why, or whatever the issue is. We need to know how the councilmen are placing their votes. If we're not here, we can come and pick it up the next day or so, or whatever, so we know exactly who and how people are representing us.
That's great. So, first, yes, ma'am, I'm in agreement. The reason, it would have been easy just to tear this all down, and once again, like you said, that's a waste of resources at this particular point in time. Okay. And I do think it would be better to clean the carpet than it would.
Just rhetoric.
Yeah, but I was actually thinking the same thing. Actually, we were discussing Mr. Davidson and Mr. Williams the other day about carpet in City Hall. I think we need a new sound system too.
I do too, especially over there.
Yeah.
I forgot to
So
write that
there are
down.
other things that money can be used for. Just so you know, as far as minutes, I see you, sir. Just so you know, I see you. As far as us being able to, first of all, is anybody writing any of this stuff down? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So, because the last thing you said, that's a little bit, I'm trying to figure it out, and I just don't know the answer to it.
About how they voted?
No, about how we're going to make that more accessible to people versus less accessible. So, just give an example. So you can always come to City Hall, and you can go to the clerk's office, and you should be able to get a copy of what transpired in the previous meeting.
Not so much everything that transpired, but the issues that were voted on. If you can give us everything, that's great.
So just a synopsis
But we want
of
to know
that.
how the aldermen are voting.
Okay.
So you could just lay some papers out there with the citizen paper and the city sticker papers, and we can just come by and pick it up. We don't have to bother anybody. We can just pick them up out of a box or a tray or something. Pick one up, just a one sheet paper.
Yes, ma'am.
So-and-so voted against ordinance, so-and-so and the ordinance relates to stray dogs.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. Just three main ideas. Who, how they voted, and what the topic they voted on.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And we also, picking up on that, I don't know if you noticed at the last meeting, city council meeting, I tried to explain briefly what the purpose of each ordinance was. Because some people say, well, we don't understand when it says ordinance number 538925.
Right.
So I'm going to try to explain with the ordinance exactly what the purpose of the ordinance is as well, so that people in the audience will understand. I think that we can figure a way out to work that out, so thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I have to go, but I wanted to know if I can have a person talk with you, in the future, like, on the street. Because I have an issue on my block,
Yes, sir.
and I'm tired of this drug house on my block. Now, I saved the guy's life yesterday by calling 911 using the grass and beer on my block. And I'm pretty sure that also they don't really listen to know what I'm talking about.
Well,
But I want to talk to you personally about that.
okay.
Because I can't, I have a friend that she works, she can't sleep at night early in the morning. And there's 15, 20 people out there. I got it on camera. I got it on my phone. You can think I'm lying.
No,
I watch,
I don't.
I sit there on that block and watch it now. That's officers.
We're gonna have the chief here with him,
That's what
because he
I'm
said
saying.
he's about to leave.
So
Yeah.
it's
Because I got
His name and
the-
address.
He's gonna get it.
Because I got the little
He
kids in the house.
gonna get him, take care of him now.
Okay.
Then I got the little security out. Then I got people coming in, laying in my door early in the morning. I don't want to hurt these people. I know they're sick. But I figured I was trying to get, I did talk to another counselor. I got the phone number from one of the people in the neighborhood,
Alderman?
Alderman.
Right.
And I haven't called him yet, but I was just trying to clear the water bill this morning. And I asked him what kind of meeting he was having. So that's why I came over here. So I have to get back to him because these people all in my door, they steal my water, all this kind of stuff, they cut my water off. I'm tired of it, man. And I'm asking people to help me now.
And we are in, what business are we in, y'all?
Problem solving. Customer service.
Problem solving solution, giving customer service
Yeah, right
business.
here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 'cause I told
Go
you,
around there.
some last
Oh, I
night.
forgot, you know what, let me, before I continue, because I don't want the census guy to just be sitting there all day and not saying anything. Before we, yes, ma'am, this is pertaining to that? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so people have come into the library over the years to look at city ordinances because people from City Hall have sent them to the library, but we don't have anything since about 1995. Is it possible that we can get more updated copies of the ordinances?
Yes, ma'am. When I was growing up, the library was the place where you went if you wanted to get that information. I think in one of the ordinances, way back, it was actually declared to be the repository of the city ordinances. Now, I don't know if that changed over the years, I don't know exactly what happened with that, but I'm pretty sure that as we move forward, we can establish that relationship. That means that that does not mean it'll be done tomorrow, but that means that we will be working on trying to make sure that we can do that. There was, here we go. So, before I continue, the 2020 census, bottom line is this is probably, you know, if you vote, great, thank you. If you don't vote, I don't know what to say about that, but everybody needs to participate in the census. Now, why is the census really important for the city of Hardin, specifically? Who said that?
Money.
About that money. About that money. Okay. You know, there's certain things we act as if we know. Well, excuse me. We talk as if we know, but then sometimes our behaviors indicate that we really don't. So when we talk about the power to vote, but then your local government affects you more than your federal government, but you come out for more for your federal elections and less for your local elections. We have to change. I understand change is difficult, but we have to change. Everybody in this room, I believe, knows that the census happens every 10 years. Your government is basically asking you to do one thing every 10 years. Who in this room been married? You know you couldn't even get your spouse to do one thing every week. Just cut the grass and take out the garbage. The government asks you to do one thing every 10 years. Just be counting. Now, there's different ways of looking at the counting, you know, but one thing that what you say, that money, miss out on that money when we are not counting. But it has a more immediate effect for the city of Harvey because under Illinois law, we are a home rule community. We were a home rule community because we were more than 25,000 people. As a home rule community, you can tax differently, you can build differently. There's a lot of different things that you can do as a home rule community. If we don't have over 25,000, I'm just gonna tell you right now, if we don't have over 25,000 people in this next census, we are going to lose that home rule status. Problem is, we will still have home rule bills. Okay? We will still have home rule bills. We will still have things to pay for. Because see, as a home rule community, say for instance 7 years ago, we decided that we wanted to pass a bond or pass a law and borrow some money. We decided that we wanted to buy, and I say this facetiously, you know what I'm saying, the Rolls Royce, we wanted to have a Rolls Royce of cities. And we borrowed money. But now, if we're no longer a home rule municipality, then we can't tax appropriately in order to pay that bill. You follow what I'm saying? So we really need for everyone, especially in this 2020 census, to get involved. So once again, get your neighbor involved. Do not, if your granddaughter or your grandson is living with you, include them. I don't want nobody to know they live with me. But look, honestly, I know about Big Brother, but I don't really think that they're just trying to figure out who living in your house. Okay? Out of all the people in the United States of America, they just want to know who lives in yours. We have to do this, and we have to do this together. If we don't get 25,000, then we're going to have a different city again. Okay? And it's not going to be all positive. So we really need you to participate in the census. Now, I'm going to let this gentleman here say a few words, because he knows even more than I do, so I need to be quiet. The floor is yours.
Should I come over there? Or?
Wherever you feel comfortable.
I'll just talk right here.
As long as they can hear you.
My name is Corey Stevenson. I'm from the U.S. Census Bureau. I am a partnership specialist. So on behalf of the mayor and behalf of the city of Harvey, thanks you all for having me. My regional director, Marilyn A. Sanders, just wants to thank all of the cities who are forming partnerships with the U.S. Census Bureau because it's a very critical and important endeavor. So, like he said, it's a constitutional mandate that we count everyone only once in the right place. So, and every 10 years. So, it's everyone on U.S. soil, non-citizens and citizens. So, why is this important? It's very important because of democracy, and it's very important, just like the mayor said, because of funding. So let's talk about democracy. It determines our number of reps in U.S. Congress. So currently there's 435 reps. Illinois has 18. We're slated to lose one just because of our population loss. So we want to make sure that we don't lose any because of an undercount. Now, why is that important? You want people in D.C. to be arguing about according to your needs. So it's very important to have, for us not to lose a rep. Also, like he said, we're talking about funding. So this time around, it's allocated that more than 600 is going to determine our portion of more than $675 billion that comes to each state for each year. So you're locking yourself out of critical funds that can be coming into the state every year for 10 years. So it's very critical for us to get an accurate count. Now, also, it determines our local, federal, and state redistricting. So and that's based off of population shifts. So every 10 years, these maps are redrawn. So you're talking about representation. So you want to get fair, accurate representation. So you want to make sure that you fill out this particular form. Now let's talk about a little bit about the operations, because this time it's a little bit different. So this time around, we are about to start our phase. It's called address canvassing, and that's determining where we send out our forms. So this particular operation is going to start this month, all right? Now, how we found out where people live in 2010 is a little bit different than how we're doing it right now. So this time around, only about 30% of address canvassing is going to be in field. That's because technology has changed. So in 2010, we had to go door to door physically and check every address where people are living. This time around, we're going to be able to use our geography department, which a lot of municipalities are sharing where we should count, but then also use partnerships with the post office and also satellite imaging to determine where to mail out our forms. Now, it's going to be 3 ways to respond this time around. So the first time ever, people are going to be able to internet self-respond. So that means that people will get a unique census ID that's going to be mailed to them. And then when the time is available, around starting in March, the forms will be mailed out, and starting in March, you'll be able to self-respond. So you'll be able to respond 3 ways. So with the internet self-response, you'll get a unique census ID that you can respond for your particular household. And once you fill out that form online, you're completely done. It's gonna be in 12 languages. So it's gonna be English and then 12 other languages online. All right. You're gonna get it's gonna be 2 ways that the form is gonna be mailed out in 2 different languages. It's gonna be English and Spanish. And then there's going to be 59 language guides where individuals, if they need help, they can call and get assistance on using those languages. So this is very important. The most important day that you all should remember is by April 1st. Okay, so April 1st determines, that's what we call internally April as Census Day. That's where we want people to self-respond. So municipalities, you should be encouraging your community to respond by that particular time. Now, that means, like he said, everyone needs to be counted in the household. Now, the first thing to remember is that their information is protected federally. It is a constitutional mandate that we cannot share that information, all right? So, we can't share with any other government agency, and it can't be used against you in court, all right? That information is protected for a lifetime. And we actually go to jail, if we share that information. So it's a fine for up to $250,000 or 5 years in jail. So the information we collect is aggregated and it's tied to a census tract. It's not tied to you. So it's safe, it's secure, and it's very important for you to fill out that particular form. Now, starting in March, you'll start getting mailers and information. And after the fourth mailing, if no one has responded, they'll actually mail out all forms. So everyone will get a form. And then after that, if no one's still responding in that particular household, we will have to send out what's called, enumerated census statement. So that starts off our non-response follow-up. So starting from around May of 2020 into July and August of 2020, that's non-response follow-up. So you'll start to see people who are going to be going to be self-identified with IDs that come around. Now, why do we want people to self-respond? Because most times people don't open up doors. So a lot of critical information and data that will be important for the city of Harvey just won't get collected accurately because people aren't, the only thing we can do is knock on the door and say, hey, do you know this person, if they're not answering. So, but they won't be able to necessarily know everyone who's living in that household. And like the mayor said, yes, we want to know everyone who's living in that household, but we can't share that information with anyone. But it's very important because it determines a lot of federal funding that comes to the states. You think about Medicaid, your Medicare, some of your education grants, where we build schools. He talked about how businesses come and check out your meetings. So they do research on different areas based off of census data. So you want to make sure that you fill out this particular form. Now, lastly, I want to talk about complete count committees. So complete count committees is our way of forming partnerships with local governments. So we start the municipalities. We also start with state governments and then tribal governments. So the Chicago region is 8 states. We're Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin, and we're also Arkansas, Iowa, Missouri, Minnesota, and Michigan. So we have a lot of states to cover, and we have tribal governments in those areas, so we're building partnerships as well. So a complete count committee is just our way of ensuring that we are reaching out to those who are less likely to respond. And we need the cities, we need community-based organizations to help us do that. So what you can do is help your city with their complete count committee. You guys are the trusted voices. It's great. They see the alderman, they see the mayor, they see the administrator, they see the fire chief, they see the police chief, and they're their trusted voices. But you are the people who see everyone every day, and you're going to be able to tell them how important it is to fill out this particular form. And lastly, I just want to talk about some of our jobs that we're hiring for. So there's a lot of great paid jobs that we're hiring to complete our operations. Like I said, address canvassing is starting this month, so that's one of the first operations. And so in Cook County, the pay rate is $18 to $22.50. Some of my field supervisors, they start at $25 an hour. And so it's part-time. You get to make your own hours. You can work up to 35 hours a week. It's simple to apply. So it's not like filling out your resume or anything like that. You just go online. The web link is 2020census.gov/jobs. You have to be 18. You have to have a valid email address. And the qualifications, you have to be able to get around. So in a city like Harvey, you get around with public transportation, or you have your car, that's great. You'll be working in your community or other surrounding communities. Some of these jobs, we have 27 area census offices that are slated to be still open. There's 5 open in our region right now. And so we're going to be opening in a number of area census offices here in Cook County. And so people will be tied into those offices, either working in the office, working with data, doing IT, being clerks, or they'll be working for these part-time jobs. They're working from home. So make sure to get the word out that these part-time jobs are out. Make sure that on April 1st, by April 1st, you turn in your census form, and then make sure that you're helping your administration get the word out about the 2020 census. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it possible for us to do an applicant day here in the city so that residents can come here and apply for those jobs directly?
Yeah, sorry. So that's the last thing I did. Sorry about that. So one thing I want to tell you that we can set up applicant days where we can come out and help interested applicants apply. So all we need is a place that has computers. We can schedule a day. You guys promote it, and we'll get people apply right there on the spot.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Did anyone have a question in regards to the census? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know if the Census Bureau will be getting information out to people to explain to them how important it is. Well, you mentioned that it's sensitive information, and that it is sensitive, and that it's not shared with anyone because, in light of what's going on today, especially in our U.S. government, and people are really afraid of different nationalities, like maybe the Hispanic communities, or and they may be, and not just Hispanic. That's what I'm thinking of.
Right.
Who may think that if they list things or list people on their census, that it may, affect them adversely, or somebody may be coming to pick them up, and take them out of the country. So it's very important, and I know that what the president had tried to do, I know that failed. But a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people are fearful. And that's why they don't fill out the census as completely as they should.
Right.
So will there be information, maybe some type of information going out to the people or made available in some type of way? Or even if, for instance, if we wanted to promote it and we wanted to say, go out to people and let them know how important it is, do you have any information available that could be distributed to
Yes.
them? You do?
So to answer your question, that's why we're out building partnerships with cities and community-based organizations, because they know their hard-to-count demographics and how to reach them, and they're working with their social services and their community to reach out and give help to individuals. So we form these complete count committees with the municipalities in the hopes that we can get information that's critical and that's important, and also truthful, right? So accurate information. So we disperse it to the complete count committees, and then they work to get it out to the community. So there's also a website, 2020census.gov, that has downloadable information that anyone can find information about confidentiality, and it will be in different languages as well. So, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Does anyone else have a question?
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Maybe we could coordinate with the YMCA for the seniors.
Yes.
Maybe we could have a location there so they don't have to.
This is going to take all of us. Whether it's the YMCA building, just Jackson Junior East and West, Charlton West building, whether it's the school districts, City Hall, Thornton Township, everybody needs to participate. Everyone needs to push to make sure that this happens, because it is so important for our region, but specifically us as a community. So something that's put out there, we will be talking about it more. We'll be providing more information as we get it, but I want to make sure that we address that issue. So this is going to go fast. In order to be a successful city, we must think and act like a successful city. The things that I talked about, that I will continue to talk about, and I will talk about them until they are done. But what I'm finding out is that even when you think you're done with these issues, you're never really done with these issues. But streets, lights, sidewalks, curbs, litter dumping, trash pickup, water, abandoned homes and vacant lots, police protection, fire protection. These are the basic quality of life issues. They are also basic quality of business issues too, because when businesses look at cities and decide whether they're going to come, these are some of the criteria that they use determining on whether they're going to come to the city or not. We are in the problem-solving, solution-giving customer service business. So my great team over there, we're going to have a choir rehearsal, so we practice saying that together with enthusiasm. Okay. How long have we been here? How long have we been in office? Anybody know? 69 days?
100 days.
59 business days. That's it. 59 business days. Except for me and a few others, because some of us work 7 days a week, around the clock, 59 business days. And that's important because the simple fact is, there's a staff, there's an administration. Everyone does not stay beyond 5 o'clock. So some work we get done, some work we don't get done. But 59 business days we've been here. What have we done so far? Just to recap, the Cook County Sheriff's Police decided to come in and they wanted to give assistance to the city of Harvey to help to shore up our police force and help to protect the residents here. Harvey Police Department. Hired new chief, deputy chief, director, and other departments. Hired new patrol officers. Purchased 4 police vehicles through a Department of Justice grant. So for those who want to know how y'all got the cars, it was a DOJ grant. And ain't don't get after me, get out to the chief. Don't get after me, get out to the chief. Okay, this man is coming in here cooking. Okay, but yeah, so I would get the cars, and it didn't go in certain directions. It was the DOJ grant. But let me ask you this question real quick now. If you get 4 new cars, okay, do you want the cars? Yes or no? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you want the cars? Do you want the police officers? Do you want more patrol? Or is it more important that I came and knocked on your door and said, ma'am, is it okay if I go ahead and get these things? Or would you like to see them? Yeah. Well, see, because I have to try to figure it out. Because see, what I can do is I say, you know what? Okay, we're not going to get the cars until I come knock on each one of your doors and find out if it's okay with you. Then maybe after we're done, and after we take the time of adding up all the numbers to figure out how it worked out, then maybe we'll figure out if we're going to get the cars. We cannot govern that way, people. We just can't do that. Decisions have to be made. And when you decided to vote on April 2nd, 2019, you decided to give me that decision-making power. Okay? I promise you I'm not going to abuse it. I may have to be rough with some folks, but okay, when it's time to fight, it's time to fight. But the simple fact is I am not going to abuse the authority that you have given me. Believe me. And I'm not going to degrade myself or my family in that way. And like I've always said, and I don't plan on losing my bar license. Okay, so that's not going to happen. So there's no compromise as far as that's concerned. Found 4 missing truck scales to start holding trucks accountable. We have an issue with trucks driving up and down our residential streets. You're complaining about the potholes, I get them too. I got them right in front of my house. And we know that the trucks are driving down our streets and they're not supposed to be driving down there. Now the street has been destroyed, and of course we want the potholes filled. But there's no other mechanism to hold the people, some of the people who were responsible for creating that situation accountable. So the city had 4 scales, and we did not know where they were. But we found them, and I'll just leave it at that. But we found them. And we are now getting them calibrated. And eventually, if I'm correct, Chief, you can nod yes or no, we'll be putting those scales into work throughout our city and start to hold those scofflaws accountable for what they're doing on our streets. Okay? But we didn't have to buy anymore, and so I'm just so grateful for that. And so that one I want to give, honestly, I got to give that one to her. And to him.
Police.
And what was that?
Police.
Oh, she don't want to take no credit for it. Should I give her credit for it? See, she did. She did it. He did it. You know, they found the scales. Bottom line. And that's money that we don't have to spend. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about that. Suppose folks are not supposed to come down the street. I'm on 150th Street. At Dixie Highway, there's a sign that says no trucks allowed. And trucks, 18-wheelers come down to Dixie, come down 150th Street daily. So what can be done about that? You know, the scales are good and that's needed, but for residential street like 150 where no trucks are allowed, they're coming down that street.
Right. Well, it kind of works similar to just how we catch speeders and people who run stop signs and things of that nature. First of all, we have to increase patrol. We have to increase the amount of people that we have to actually to patrol those particular areas. Also, when you have, say for instance, places or streets where we know, just to give an example, so 147, everybody know about the train issue. Train stops forever. Okay. If you are coming from the west headed east, okay, and that train is there, and you're right at that light on 147 in Wood, those trucks will turn off and go down Lincoln and tear Lincoln up. Okay, 147 in Lincoln. Yeah, exactly. And they come around 150th Street and they do those things. So we know that's an area that gets that kind of traffic. So in my mind, and of course I would have to confer with the police chief, but in my mind I'm thinking, seeing that happens, we know that it happens, that would probably be one of the places that we would start. So that gives you an indication of how you figure it out. Because it would be virtually impossible, well not impossible, but maybe impractical to have enough police to be at every street stop sign to make sure it doesn't happen. So we know that's not going to happen. But we can determine areas based on where we know things are happening and based on complaints that we receive. So earlier in the meeting, I said we're putting together a structure so that we can receive your complaints. And this goes a little bit off. But one of the things that we don't have right now in this city is we don't have information. Okay? I hear the thing about people who call City Hall and City Hall doesn't answer the phone. You called somewhere else and they didn't answer. Or you had a complaint, and you talked to this person or somebody told you this or told you that. One of the things that we need to develop here in the city and that we're working on is developing a system to keep up with that information. Because let's just say for at your house. If you've called, your neighbors called, another neighbor's called, the person across the street called, the person down the block called, and the person around the corner called, we need to be able to group that all together to know that we got so many calls from this area, and that's why we need to go over there and take care of this particular issue. You follow what I'm saying? When we're not keeping up with this information, we are actually selling ourselves short. Okay. Also, what that means is that we're going to need you to help. We're going to need you to participate. So when we're asking you simple questions like, for instance, what is your address? You cannot imagine how many letters I get here in the city of Harvey where people will send letters and they don't want to put their address. I'm not coming after you, okay? They don't want to put their address. Now they want me to fix an issue. Okay? The letters are not really well written, so I don't always know exactly what they're talking about. But I can't contact them because they don't put their name, they don't put their address, they don't put a phone number. I know they're nice people because they put thank you at the end of the letter. But I need to have the information so that I can help you. Really. Because if we're not gathering that information, using that information today in this age is so key and so important. It helps us to get things done in an efficient and an effective way. It helps us to be able to serve you without breaking the bank, especially when you don't have a lot of dollars to spend. So as we begin to move forward, we'd be able to determine where to put that truck based on calls that we have, based on incident reports, based on crash statistics, based on those types of things. We have to use that information. Senior services. I'm so proud of this. Where are we at? Uh-oh. There we go. Senior services. I don't know if he's here today. I'm working on creating a Department of Senior Services. This is extremely important. I hope it is to all of us. It is extremely important to me. Right now, this month, was it this month, I think, Joe? Joe came on this month?
Yes. No, last month.
Last month?
End of last month.
Okay, end of last month. We brought on a Director of Senior Services, Joseph Whittington. Yeah, I think I announced him at the last Community Solutions meeting. Senior services are extremely important. If you travel outside the city of Harvey and you go into some other communities, you see some of the services that our seniors receive. And sometimes you may say to yourself, why aren't we getting those services? Why aren't they doing those things in our community? Remember, this is information. I'm just talking about information. We need to know who you are. We need to know how we can serve you. We need to make your quality of life better. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. And I hope and pray God allows me to be able to do so. It is my goal and my ambition that every person, all those elders who helped to raise me, which is basically all of you, that your lives will be better 4 years from now than they are today. That you'll be able to look back and you'll be able to say to yourself, well, maybe it ain't perfect, but it sure is better than what it was. That is the goal. And the Department of Senior Services will help to bring those services to you that you need. Just give an example, for immunizations and things like that you may need. Walgreens giving those things out in other communities for free. But we need to have some place here where that is happening for our people when you need your flu shot, for those who take a flu shot. So we want to make sure that our seniors are getting the services that they're supposed to have, but also we want to improve your quality of life. And what do I mean by that? A lot of seniors don't have something to do during the day. And most of the seniors that I met want to stay active. As my mother tells me, they want to stay relevant. And my mother always tells me that over and over again. We want to have something for you to do, a way for you to get engaged in the community. I want seniors to be able to contribute, contribute to what we're doing, because you have experiences well beyond mine. And you know things that I just don't know, because I have not lived long enough yet to learn those things. And we need you to be able to share those things with us so that we can help to make the city better. One thing I learned as an alderman, if I had to listen, you just came to mind, if I had to listen to some of those people in my first year as an alderman that was trying to tell me some things in my first year as an alderman, I probably would have been a better alderman. I probably would have been. All I wanted to do was serve. All I wanted to do was help. But because I wasn't leaning on the people that I should have leaned on, those that knew, I dropped the ball somewhere. I got some things done, but there was a lot of things that I didn't get done that I wanted to do. So now I guess I'm paying a penance for it now, because y'all made me mayor. Building and planning. Hire a new director of building and planning. We did not have one. We had not had a director of building and planning for how many years? 3 years. We needed one. We now have one. Hired new inspectors. We needed new, and we needed more inspectors as well. We now have new inspectors. They are being trained up, and I think some of you may or may not have seen them on the streets. Government resources and funding. We hired a grant writer. A lot of people come to me and say, hey, do you have a grant writer? We have a grant writer now, okay? We hired a lobbyist. Thanks to the city council as well on that one for voting to approve that one. We have a lobbyist to help us out in basically government relations when it comes to Springfield, federal government, Cook County, to try to bring more money into the city of Harvey. The Pace Bus Station. Cleaned up the trash and litter. I don't know if anybody's been to the Pace Bus Station lately, but there's a crack difference between what it was. Cut the grass and trim. Health security responsible for walking the area. Removed non-patrons and disrupted drug and gambling activities. Pro-Champs. Pro-Champs is a program that holds banks, landlords, and vacant properties are held responsible for the condition of their property, because people are tired of living next door to an eyesore, okay, or across the street from an eyesore. It helps to remove blight. It collects a registration fee for the city. So part of this program collects a registration fee for the city, okay? It's not an expense to us, just so you understand. We're not paying somebody in order to have them do this. What we're doing is when they collect the registration fee for the city, for example, we get this $300 registration fee, we get 200. Pro-Champs, who operates the program, gets 100, okay? So it's not really an expenditure to us. The potential revenue stream from the registration in the year is for the city of Harvey, it's $314,453, okay? It provides a way to find bad properties and has a potential revenue stream from the fines. City Council passed the first part. They passed the first part on May 16th, okay? But they would not pass the second part. So we're going to keep trying because we need to have some way to deal with the properties in our community. The other thing that ProChamps does is it provides in that registration, it provides us a database so we can know home ownership. Which properties are owned by what people, by what banks, whether it's a bank, whether it's a private party. You know, so we need to know that information because we need to hold people responsible. So I get people just about every day come to me and say, I want to buy a property. Is this property available? Well, the first thing we got to find out, does the city actually own the property? And if anybody saw what was going down on the lower level here, we got a lot of papers and a lot of information stacked up to the ceiling, but we don't have all the information that we need to have right now. And they expect for me to just know right here in this corner of my brain whether we own that property on 1649, wherever it is. You know, that's not something that I walk around with, and we don't have that information. So ProChamps allows us to start to create that database so we can actually answer the questions that you've posed before us. You and them. Yes, ma'am.
What is the second part that
There was an ordinance that needed to be passed along with the agreement. So the first part was the agreement to do business with ProChamps. That passed unanimously. The second part is just the ordinance that's just part and parcel of the agreement and must be passed, basically allowing ProChamps to do the business that they need to do.
So can I ask why they did not pass it?
No. Only because I don't really have that answer. That's not an answer that I can give. Only thing that I will say is this. You know, if it weren't for politics, we'd probably get a lot of things done. That's all I gotta say.
Did the second part have anything to do with money?
No,
The first part did.
no. There was no money, period. The only thing the first part says, okay, do you believe this is a good thing for the city? And would you like to do business with this particular company? Would you like to have them collect a fee of $300? Okay.
That is money.
Of which, yes, but not an expenditure, I'm sorry. Okay. Collect a fee of $300 in which Harvey gets 200 of those dollars and ProChamps gets 100 of those dollars.
And the
from fee
200
that's collected.
goes where?
To Harvey.
In what fund?
That would go into our general fund.
So they can't charge you.
Okay. So that was a yes. Then the second part was just a standard, almost boilerplate ordinance that gives them the ability to be able to do that. That was the second part. So, but we're going to put it back on the agenda. I think it's going to pass. First of all, number one is, I feel pretty confident that it is. But like I said, if it wasn't for politics, we'd get a lot more done. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have to wait for you to do anything about the land building for you, or you have to wait till the class that gets over the banker, find out who property belongs to before you do anything with the burn down house next to my house?
Yes, ma'am. Well, it creates, let's put it this way. So what happens is, this type of program, because we just don't have enough of the human capital to do all the things that we need to do. We don't have all the financial capital either to do all the things that we need to do. So putting this program into place gives us a little bit more of what we need to be able to get those things done. It's not enough, so that's to say, in your particular case, getting that house down, for instance, next door to you, that's not impossible, but it's a much slower walk getting there versus if we can get someone else in. Yes, ma'am.
I wish you never would get it done, because if something happened to that house before my house, I got to do it.
And you know I know this, right?
Huh?
And you know I know this.
No, yeah, you know.
Yes, but that's what I say, it's a much slower walk to getting there. And so that's why we're trying to bring in something such as ProChamps, someone over, yes ma'am, that was good, that's
How
right.
about information about property to go to the township and find out about who owns what? Because I asked the question, I think before my day go there, they got a map here, over there. Who owns this, or is this the city's property, or is this the county property?
Right. Well, so First of all, there's a variety of sources that you can use to try to find out information regarding properties. A lot of times I will ask people, did you do a search yourself first? But I also said we are in the problem-solving, solution-giving customer service business. Thank you. Yes. So because we were in that business, even though, yes, you could actually go, I can tell people, go out to Cook County on the 4th floor, and downtown Chicago. But when I say that, they give me this look like, I ain't going all the way down there. So you can't get them to go, but you still want to try to help them. So my thing is to help them as much as we possibly can, provide them whatever information we can. Yes, ma'am.
Concerning the silence. If Harvard and the sheriff's office come out and set somebody out of the house, when you automatically know who owns that property, because they had to have the information in order to come set a person out and board the house up. So the person that owns that property, you should know that.
First, we don't, Harvard doesn't set people out.
The police is working.
Okay.
I know they are.
One percent, we don't set people out.
I know we set them out, but I'm just saying, would Harvard automatically know who their property belongs to?
So let's get into the knot of, I'm gonna get you, George, and then over here. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So let's get into the knot of home ownership and cloud of title. We just had somebody this week that came in that was renting a house from somebody who didn't own the house. And the owner who owned the house didn't know that the house was being rented from the person who didn't own the house. Okay, so I understand exactly what you're saying. But unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. And actually what I have found, a good portion of the time, it doesn't. So the story I tell, I'm gonna make it real quick, is, and here we go. So grandma passes away. Grandma didn't leave a will. Grandma didn't leave anybody in charge of the house. Okay? So the daughter moves in, and she gets in, and she has children. She stays there for a while, and the neighbors think it's okay, because they known her. They knew her for all these years, so they figured she was supposed to be in the house. Because they knew her mama, they knew her when she grew up. But the house was never transferred because she never left a will, she never left any instructions. So the house is still in her name. So after the house is still in her name, she's been paying the water bill, the electric bill, and all the rest of that stuff all this time in mama's name. The mama's gone, right? Now the mama's gone, something happens, for instance, the water gets turned off. Now she comes into the city of Harvey, and she's trying to figure out a way to get the water turned back on. But they saying, tell your mama to come down and tell us, because mama owns property. Mama ain't here no more. Okay? So then, daughter says, well, you know what? I'm just fed up, I'm frustrated. But daughter has a daughter. So daughter's daughter decided, you know what? I'm gonna move in here, and I'm gonna take it over. So they take over the property. The other mama moves to California. The previous mama deceased. The house is still in the previous mama's name. You follow me? Just twist it all up. Okay? So the youngest daughter decides, or the granddaughter, that's what it is, decides, okay, you know what? I'm sick and tired of dealing with this. I don't want to deal with it anymore. The place getting too bad. I don't like it no more. So I'm going to sell the house. Ain't sell this house. House in grandma's name. But depending on who you talk to, and depending on who comes to you with the right amount of money, that house can get sold. Okay? That house can get sold. It may never get recorded, but it gets sold. So somebody comes along with $10,000 and it says, I'm gonna put $10,000 in your hand, give me that house. And you go, and of course the daughter's like, grandma's like, well, I don't care, because I'm walking away from it anyway, so it don't make me no difference. So grandmama's deceased, mama done moved to California, the daughter was here, she done sold the house for $10,000 to somebody else. You don't know no better, except for they living next door to you. Now, there's more. There's more. So then all of a sudden, the person that's renting out the house, nobody really knows that's being rented. You saying, well, I don't know what's going on over there. It just ain't never been kept like that, because when Miss Jenkins was here, she didn't never keep a house like that. That's what you're saying to yourself. You don't know all this stuff is happening. And all of a sudden, they're coming into the city because something bad happens. And now they're trying to get something that they need. Now that person's come here just stomping like never before, like an attitude, because they feel like they're supposed to be able to get something. Because the person who bought the house for $10,000 that was sold to it by somebody who had no right to sell it because it was not transferred over property, because there was no will and the grandmother died intestate, because all of that happened, the person comes in and I want you to do this. Now, young lady behind the counter who's in the problem solving solution giving customer service business, what does she say? I'm sorry, I can't help you. And here all of a sudden the hollering customer.
Yeah.
Because business wasn't taken care of. That, unfortunately, my friends, is some of the usual of what goes on here in the city of Hartford.
Every day.
Okay? And that's why we are trying to get it better. Yes, George, and you, ma'am.
Okay, I got a situation, something like that going on right now. Property next to me. A little background on the property. Mother owned the house. She moved out because of a very high property tax. They were like $40,000 back taxes on the property. Now, 2 years later, her son decides to move back into the property illegally. No utilities on the property. He's using it as a base to rob neighbors. And recently there was a shooting there because one of the neighbors confronted him over robbing his property. And that's caused a problem with my neighbor. And like you said, went to the county, I verified who owned the property. It's not being maintained, it's a blight. People are coming and going. I called the city about it. Called a couple of times, but I mean recently, last month. They say he's sitting out a car, nobody comes. And we just fed up, we don't know what to do. We've already lost a very good neighbor because of this situation. And because the good neighbors, because there was supposedly was a shooting there, they can't come back to their property, court order, and they don't feel safe. And we really trying to find out, okay, I know who owns the property, I got documentation on that, it's not being maintained, where can we get some help to deal with the situation? Because it's a real simple thing like the lawn being maintained. All of them had someone come out and cut it once, but the grass is this high now, and they've been cut since then.
Your grass is only down? I don't even know how.
Yeah, but this is serious. I mean, this is not a joke. This is serious because we have shootings there. We got a park on the property, and you know, prostitution going on there because they're property on the property, doing their act. I called the police station, and I mean in the last 3 weeks, I called them about other things. The neighbor on the block, fireworks, and it sounds like it shouldn't be a big deal. They're shooting right next to a big tree right next in the park. And the trees all connected on my block so they can start a fire. And I called twice, no response. So what can the city do to help us with dealing with this piece of property that's becoming a real hazard for the rest of the block? And two, some better police response, because like I said, we're not getting a response. They said they're gonna send somebody. They're not sending anybody. I know it seems trivial because nobody's getting shot, nobody laying in the street. But you got a situation where somebody shooting fireworks on a dry day next to a half-dead tree, and all the tree is a big canopy going up and down my block. It's gonna burn somebody's house down. He's gonna come. Call them for different things. They say they're gonna come. They come 2 hours late. Just 2 days ago, I had to call.
Let's land it. Let's land it.
Okay, 2 days ago, I had to call because some guys were riding minibikes through the block, through the park. I live next to the park. The cops came. The guys almost hit a child on the block. I don't know the people, but I got to go out there and confront them because we're not getting any law enforcement response. Now, I'm putting myself in danger, but if I don't, somebody's child gonna get hit. Because you got these 2 kids riding minibikes through the neighborhood. You got to get better police response because I don't want to put myself in danger and nothing's happening.
Okay. And unfortunately for us, at this particular point in time, still getting you, ma'am. You want me to hear you first and then answer his and yours?
No, that's fine. I just have one question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to know if I can have the grass cut across the street from my house so I can feel safe. Once they cut it, I'll maintain to the resources or whatever come through, I'll keep it. But if they can just cut it because it's so high, and I can't cut it with a regular mower. I've been up to the superintendent's office, I've been going since May. They'll say, we're coming out, we're waiting on new machines, they got new machines, and they cut the grass on Roby, which is in front of the little lot in front of my house. But they haven't cut my grass. If they can because I went to the alderman, he said he's tried, and nothing is being done. If it could be cut, I get off late at night, to feel safe. I'll keep it cut. If I got to get out there on my days off and cut it with my little one, I will keep it cut until the resources come and can take care of it. They can just please do that for me, and the rest of it I'll wait.
I like those questions. And those questions got very simple answers. Yes, you can. Okay, we're gonna get that information from you, okay? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, do that for me, would you please? Wait for this gentleman right here. So, the question and part statement that you just made, unfortunately, is a statement in a lot of the neighborhoods. It's affecting a lot of the homes in the city of Harvey. You know, it may not be specifically exactly, you know, alike, but it's similar in a lot of ways. These are things that we're working on. That's why once again, we just got new patrol officers. That's why I added it. That's why I was talking about the new police cars. That's why we've added it. That's why we're putting together systems to try to help to keep up with some of these things. But once again, in the beginning, what did I say? The harvest is ripe, the labors are few. And let's just take grass, for instance, because it seems like people have so many issues with grass, which I understand that. I'm not saying that I don't. But at the same time, honestly, if we were to put that, yes, we are. And that's why when I talk about efficiency and effectiveness and putting those things in place will help us to be able to do this without having to, once again, break the bank. Because we just can't afford to do all of the things that we want to do right now at this particular point in time. For those who have lived in Harvey for a long time, at least say over 25 years, you remember when there weren't as many vacant lots. So we didn't have the issue of we have so many lots on the block, because every lot had a house on it. And every house had a resident, and I would say at least 98% of the residents were responsible. But things have changed. So with that change, we have to adapt and we have to figure out a way to deal with that. Yes, sir.
Yes, I've been in Harvey for 49 years in community service. And I witnessed a great thing in giving a pull-up for the police department and the new administration. I take people to get methadone so they won't be on heroin. And I was at the methadone clinic last Saturday, and the police rolled down, you know, on the whole lick, and told them they couldn't be out here, they couldn't park out here. Then when I come this week, everybody was being obedient. People, bottom line, want to do right. So I hope that you aggressively do more police work so people will know that they have to deal with law and order. And our witnesses, and I was so happy, they almost got me too. And it was good that they were being that aggressive, especially for us seniors. And I want to just say we need to work together more. I am from an Alcoholics Anonymous situation where I've been straight 35 years, and I tried to help them get a grant. And some rich people in this town I brought in.
Which also deals with the housing. It assists with the demolition of abandoned and blighted homes. So where it would cost us a certain amount of money to demolish a home, it doesn't cost us as much because Cook County helps to do so, helps to offset some of those costs. We are right now at this particular point in time trying to identify, and I'm sure you probably say, yeah, you can do the house next to me. We're trying to identify some homes or buildings or structures that we can tear down. Public Works, hire seasonal workers to assist with high grass, fly dumping, potholes, filling, is this correct, Mr.? Okay. Filling of the potholes should be this upcoming week. Okay. Now mind you, it takes us time to get here. Okay? I know that childhood diseases, all that stuff was supposed to, and homelessness was supposed to be eradicated when I got in office. And I say this stuff, when I say this stuff, I say it just because if I take this stuff too seriously, I'm gonna have a heart attack and die. Okay? But understand, I understand it's real. But just the relationship of trying to get some asphalt in this city is like trying to pull teeth out of a lion's mouth. Now maybe we walked into a situation where it was ideal, then fine. But we are trying to operate an ideal city in situations and circumstances that are not ideal. So just a simple thing of trying to get you asphalt. It's like the James Brown song. Please, 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 please. That's all we do, over and over again, trying to figure out ways to get the things that we need. And people are upset because they haven't been paid. The promises that they were made, they were not kept. And we're trying to reestablish those relationships. So just please give us a little time. Yes, ma'am. It's more dumping out there.
Is doing the same thing over and over again. Somebody should be fined, somebody should be paying for it. Why would you communicate the same guy doing the same thing over and keep somebody else?
So I'm going to let Mr. Sever speak a little bit on that, and then I'm going to speak on it as well.
We are trying to rectify that problem. We hired a alley inspector for Public Works. We haven't had that in 20 years, which will go out directly after we clean it. We've cleaned from 160th to 144th from Wood to Park, and it looks like we were never there. So we hired an alley inspector to try to find out where this dumping's coming from. Also this week we talked to the Illinois EPA. They're going to assist us with cameras. All we have to do is call them. So all we have to do is call them and make it a hot spot. The EPA, who has been working greatly with the city of Harvey to kind of curb this problem. Our dumping fees are so astronomical. This is why we can't have 75 employees and 18,000 grass cutters. Our dumping bills alone are probably over $100,000 right now. Most communities don't have that in a year. So these are some of the things that we're trying to, we ask for help. We're not shy. And you know, as long as you reach out to these agencies, they'll help us in any way they can.
And that's exactly what I was about to say. So I don't even have to say that. But yeah, we're trying to get help with those situations. We really need it. Once again, you're getting dumping at your house, so is she. You're getting dumping at your house, so is he. We're all affected by that. And so we're trying to find the solutions to dealing with that. This administration has been working, you know, on a lot of these issues. You know, that's just fly dumping, has been working on a lot of those issues, and we're continuing to do so. We're not going to argue with folks. We're not going to do it. We're not going to respond to rumors, gossip, innuendos. We're not going to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to get the work done, and then we're going to let the work speak for itself. That's what we're going to do. And so some of the things that the people over here and those over here have been doing so far to help to rebuild this city and lay a new foundation, I'm very proud of as a mayor. Ma'am. You say burning? Okay. Now you see, some of this stuff is just unreal. Yeah, but I know you tell the truth, but if you, yes, Miss Shirley.
And if you want to say what she's saying, Lucy's not the only one saying that she has done quite a bit. She is good, and they are working really well.
Okay. So do we do that as a fire? Do we do that as a police? Do we do that as a police and a fire? How do we do that?
Well, we got a combination of fire and police.
Now, I don't know at this particular point in time if this is going to work or not. I'm hoping that it is. So just try it, and it's going to be very simple, but I don't know if you've done it already. But now that just before I give the answer, now that you brought it up in this meeting, these people here know that I am going to hold them responsible for what you said. So, when it comes to, let's just take one at a time. Okay. Let's do one. One thing that I want you to do, like I said, and they know that I'm going to be paying attention to it, but just want you to call 911, contact the fire department. Okay? Now, you know where I am. You don't get the response that you need. You come see me. Okay? I guarantee you, you're not going to have that problem in the future. You follow me? I know you do. But I just want you to understand, because we got to test it out. Now this is a test on us too, guys, so we're going to do it. This is a test to see what's happening. I just put down the gauntlet for us to challenge ourselves to see if we can deliver on the things that we're promising. You call 911 the next time she's burning, and make sure, mind you, if she's burning a piece of paper, don't know. But she putting, right. And let us see what kind of response you get.
Sometimes I go to make something by my house, and she got it all, and when she saw me as something to do in my yard, she cleaned out the door, and the door all the time is it's playing in my yard. She got it, and she looked at my door and saw in the door. Anytime, 5 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock after and I got a really,
Okay, like I said, we're gonna fix that. Yes, Ms. Janet.
I want to take this opportunity to commend the street department for working with me with the tires in the neighborhood with the, look, he's happy because I'm not complaining. They did a great job. We got a lot of tires. And that gentleman that you hired, that's the assistant, he don't want me to say this, the assistant to accepted. What is his name?
Mr. Eric Scott.
Oh, he might be stolen. He's a great, Mr. Septic is a great person that's working with us. But I'm telling you, when I spotted out those tires and my people from the mosquito abatement went and treated those tires in the neighborhood, and I went back the next day and he gave him the list, those tires were gone. So I have to do, when something's wrong, I'll tell you when it's wrong, and I'm gonna tell you, they're doing a great job at the street department and calling when the grass is high. The snakes are going away almost in my community, but the raccoons, they still there. But that's okay. I'm commending Mr. Septic and that young man that's working with him, and I'm telling you, he's awesome. Both of them are, but let's give them a round of applause.
Let me finish this up because it's getting late. We're still developing a plan to address all the areas where the potholes are. Okay, so once again, we're starting this week, but we're still developing a plan to be able to address those issues. Fire hydrants. Hydrants are being checked, the damage, repaired, replaced, flushed, and painted red. Okay, so it's creating a new look in the city, and it also gives me an idea of which ones they actually worked on. They should be, yes, they should be, okay, I'm gonna go back this way. Yes, ma'am?
I want to know what happened to the orders that were in the neighborhood. It's being moved. And I want to know, do we have to pay them to sit down and collect a check, or do we pay them to get out and do their job?
Okay. You do this to me every time. Let's say. I got to come back because I want to stick to what we're talking about because I got to finish this up. It's already 12 o'clock. Let me finish it up. Yes, and I will address it though. Yes, ma'am. Okay, somebody was over here somewhere. Yes, ma'am.
I saw the tires and they look nice, but we have a problem with the manholes. They're not underneath, they need to be cleaned out. So
I got the answer. It's in here. It's in this presentation. So let me just move to the presentation.
We have one in front of the driveway that has sunken down to the ground. So now if this ain't.
So sewers were a part of our discussion this week, part of what took place in our department meetings this week. So we are trying to address some of those issues, and it's going to show up in this presentation. But I want to finish it. Ordinances and resolutions. We proposed and passed forgiving of the fines. So hopefully some of you took advantage of having your fines or fees forgiven this past July. We passed an ordinance to cease liquor sales at midnight. We apply the fines, forgiveness of fines applied to city stickers, parking, code violations, water bills, and other debts owed to the city. Shows you I was doing this at 2 o'clock in the morning. See how that fell out of order? Passed the water bill, the water customer bill of rights. Okay, so you now have a bill of rights when it comes to your water. Coming August 10th, 2019, from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock is National Night Out. Okay, at the Harvey Police Department. For those who don't know, 15301 Dixie Highway. Yes, sir.
Regular water bill came up, regular, and in March, we came up with a huge amount of bill. We came up to have 2,500 in water bill. Came and addressed them, they told us that we maybe had a petrol work, and we hired a professional plumber, and he came and inspected it, put under his cross base, we checked everything out, came out like he was correctly, and he said everything's fine. We're going to give your paperwork, because I want to send it to City Hall, we came over here, we had to resort to live TV, so we resorted to that, they gave us an answer saying that we're going to have to work it. Till now, March passed already, April already, we're in August now, we haven't had a court date yet. And with that issue hasn't been resolved as well either. And our bills are rising.
Okay.
And now, instead of, resolving that, the only thing that they're giving us is that we have a payment plan. And we don't have that money to pay that. It's kind of ridiculous that like from one month to another, that a bill will skyrocket actually a lot. I would expect, let's say like a late fee, a late fee, that would be something, you won't understand, but something like, let's say, from 1 month to another, it skyrocketed thousands of dollars, which we don't have that amount of money, and it's really not a problem how it came out to be that way, and we don't know what's the issue on that either. Like I said, we're trying to address it more than one time, and we haven't had an answer. It's really a lot of money we can't really pay.
So, regarding water, first of all, many of you should know how I feel about the whole water situation, and I think that the water bills are too damn high. Period. I want to move to lower the water bills. I tried to do it as an alderman. I'm trying to do it now as a mayor. I will say this much. Once again, that guy who was the alderman, he understands a little bit more now that he's mayor. But still, they haven't explained enough. I don't like the fact that a bill goes from, say, for instance, being $75 to even $100, which I think is too much. But even to $100, to all of a sudden jump into thousands of dollars. And no one can explain to you how that happens. And the only thing that you can be told is, well, maybe you got a leak. Do you understand the fire hydrant pressure size leak you would have to get a $3,000 water bill? It's you. I would not have to come to City Hall to have City Hall tell me I had a leak. I'd be swimming in the water. So I would know. I don't understand. I have to honestly say, as your mayor right now at this particular point in time, I don't have an answer to the question because no one has been able to provide me what I call a rational and reasonable answer. No one has been able to do that. I'm fighting to get that done. We currently have a water receiver. I have to honestly say, I don't get it. I don't understand what he's doing now. I understood what he was doing in the beginning because he was supposed to collect the money for the city of Chicago that needed to be paid to the city of Chicago, okay? And he was supposed to help to fix the infrastructure that we needed to have fixed. But still, no one explains the water bills. And when I was an alderman, and even now, when I go to receiver and I say, how does this person get a $3,000 water bill? They start to give me all this mumbo jumbo that even as an attorney, I can't understand. And I have a problem with that. So I'm pushing back against it. I am fighting against it. Okay? This is one of those issues that we probably will not get resolved right away. If you're having that type of issue, you and I need to talk. Okay? Because it is beyond me. But not just him and I. If anybody else is having those issues, I'm gonna get you first, and then you, Ms. Yes, ma'am. You want to talk to me too? You going through the same thing?
And I won't go over it. I know how.
Yeah. Okay. So the water is a problem. Yes, ma'am. The water is a problem. Yes, Mr. Oh, okay. And we got to get that fixed. We cannot afford to pay these types of bills. When you are on fixed income, you definitely cannot afford to pay these types of bills. So we're working on it, but I have to honestly say at this particular point in time, I don't have a complete answer there. I don't understand it. I just know that I do have a problem with that, and I will continue to try to find out what's going on as far as this water is concerned. It's crazy. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a process in place or a registration process where these people are walking around the city, like trying to get you to change your comment bills? And right now, there's a guy that showed up today when he add solar panels to the roof. Do they have to register with the city and find out if they're legitimate? Because some elderly people that are on the whole lot got succumbed to that, and their light bill ended up being $1,000.
Okay.
And because they switched, they didn't know any better. So I'm just wondering if there a process in place for people to start registering so they can cancel.
So you go to some other communities and you'll see that they have ordinances that say you cannot solicit in their communities. I believe we should have those same ordinances. We go back to the very beginning, all the way back, I don't know how many slides ago, when I was going on the role of city council, purely legislative. The council can pass an ordinance to do that. Okay? Those, or better yet, because we do have people taking notes, that'll probably end up being one of the ordinances that I submit to council for approval. Once again, if it wasn't politics, we get a lot of things done, but that is a great idea. Let's please, whoever it is, let me finish this up, because we're almost there. August 10th, 2019, 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m., the Harvard Police Department National Night Out. It's an annual community building campaign that promotes police, community partnerships, and neighborhood camaraderie. So we hope to see you there. Some guy not by the name of Lil Wink Wink or something supposed to be out there. So you can tell the young people what's the guy's name? D-Lo. D-Lo or something. I don't know who he is. I have absolutely no clue. But
I think Chief had.
what's his name?
I think Chief, no.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna be doing a lot of things that particular day. You see, backpack giveaway, face painting, DJ, food and beverages, military vehicle, SWAT fire truck, a dunk tank. I don't know who's gonna be in that. Police cars and music. Okay, if they give me in a dunk tank, I really want every last one of you to come and throw the ball and dunk me, please. Okay, are y'all for real? Is it really gonna be a dunk tank? For real?
Work it out.
Okay, if there is, yeah, please come and dunk me, please. That would be so much fun. Who was up? Yes, sir.
No, I'm just going to say that we do have a community policing volunteer sign-up sheet that's over at the table by Ms. Davis. So anyone interested in helping us out or working with us, there's a sign-up sheet over there.
Did everybody get that? No. The community policing sign-up sheet over here. Because the chief, why don't we?
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
No, I was saying for those that are interested in working with us and helping us out, especially on this day, we have a sign-up sheet over here. So please sign up. All right. Public Service Community Policing. I have a community policing office now, so that's engaging the residents. So I just started it up, let me see, about a week ago. So we're looking for volunteers, okay? Block clubs, things along those lines, so, all right? It's about the community engagement, just building partnerships. And this will be a good start right here. So anyone interested, please sign up, okay? All right.
Yeah, because I'm almost done. Ordinances that we need. So we know one. We need an ordinance dealing with solicitation here in the city. Because if we have an ordinance that says that people can't just come in your door and solicit, now when there is somebody at your door trying to sell you something, you know they're not supposed to be there. So don't even open the door. You get what I'm saying? So we need to put that in place. That's one. We need a common sense noise ordinance. Okay, a common sense noise ordinance. Now I'm gonna push on this one because I just don't like it. That's why, and that's my personal preference. The current ordinance that we have says that you can play your music as loud as you want to till what time is it? 10 o'clock? No. Current ordinance that we have now. Okay. No, ma'am. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay. The current ordinance that we have now, there was some other stuff that was way back in the day, some stuff during David Johnson, some stuff during Nick Gray. The current ordinance that we have right now says that you can play your music as loud as you want until 10 o'clock at night. Okay? Personally, I got a problem with that. I'm hoping that once again, one of the ordinances that we need is a common sense noise ordinance. But, you know, those are the things that your council can do, things that we may propose to council. They don't tend to like it too much, at least some of them don't tend to like when we propose stuff to them because they feel like we're ordering them around. Well, then, so you like that, don't you, Miss Say? So what we can do is, but we know, be encouraging. Be encouraging. Okay? There's more than one way of skinning the cat. Be encouraging. I know you can give them the job and do this, that, and the other. We're going to get them there. Believe you me. All of those items are eventually going to get there. When I was talking about myself as a freshman alderman coming here, and 4 years ago, some of y'all thought I was crazy because of the way that I came here on fire, trying to turn the world on its head. Can I get an amen from somebody? Because I know some of y'all. Exactly. That was me. Okay? I know and now that I'm in the position of mayor, I'm kind of battling the same way that other guy was battling. And that's a whole nother experience, and so now I'm pushing back on them, and they're pushing back on me. And now it seems like I'm fighting against myself almost. But encourage them. Because I could be overly judgmental, and believe you me, sometimes I want to be. Because this stuff gets irritating sometimes when you're dealing with people like that. But I remember I was like that too. So, well, they have to remember how they got elected. And it's for you to hold them accountable. And you will do that the best way that you see fit. But I just, look, I could gut punch every last one of them right now. Okay? With this was, except for you, Shirley, that's right. That's my baby. But I could, but the bottom line is, but why do that? Because where is it going to get us? It's not going to get us anywhere. So, where things might not necessarily work out 100% of where we would like for them to, we are moving in the right direction, people. So, and we're just going to get better with time. We need a special events ordinance. There you go. We need a special events ordinance. People want to hold special events in the city. They want to close down streets. They want to have their birthday parties. They want to play live music till 12 o'clock midnight. Okay? We really don't have anything in place to regulate those things. We don't even have something as simple to say, in order for you to have a special event, you need to submit the special event at least 2 weeks in advance to the event. We'll have people that come to City Hall talking about, I want to have a special event. Well, not pretty doggone close, tomorrow. See? So, we need a special events ordinance. We need a common sense sewer ordinance. So I discovered this week that part of what we're doing regarding the sewers is that if there's a sewer in the middle of the street, you're responsible from your house all the way to the sewer in the middle of the street. Now, when you bought your house, I bet you didn't buy the middle of the street, did you? Okay? Now, you understood that the parkway was part of what you had to take care of, okay? And that's your little easement that you have that you got when you came along and bought the house. But for some odd reason, and that's why I say common sense, that whole thing from your house all the way to the middle of the street, in my opinion, is utterly ridiculous. Okay? But we have to find a way to work that out that makes sense. And that's where, when I was talking about the committees, because that's not an easy answer question. No. That's where the committees can come in and help to do the work, okay, the research, to find the information, to actually figure out how to fix this problem. All of us should be in the problem-solving solution giving customer service. Yes, ma'am.
I went out there, if you don't mind, for the bread that go right in the top of the door. I'm walking with the bread right here. Like the bread down, you know, to see what it costs you.
Well, to me, the bad part about that part, as far as the sewers I'm talking about, is if that sewer gets damaged between your house and the center of the street, you gotta pay for that. How that sound? Don't sound good, does it? We have to figure out a way to fix that. That makes it reasonable for people who live here. But ordinance increasing truck violation fines. Okay? I think that we need to take a sledgehammer to the trucks that ride down our residential streets. I don't hear about no $250 ticket, and then whatever we can to the maximum of the law that we can charge trucks that come down our streets, we need to be imposing those fines and those penalties. The maximum, okay, allowable by law is what we need to be doing. And I know that it's more than what we got right now. We need marijuana ordinance. And this is important because back when Nick Graves was mayor, wow, I don't know if I forgot that one. Back when Nick Graves was mayor, you guys remember when the housing in Chicago was torn down? Remember that? And then all of a sudden we started to get an influx of people into the city. Everybody was complaining, talking about how they didn't like it. But the communities around us knew it was coming. They started putting ordinances in place and creating housing authorities early to control and stem the tide. We didn't. We didn't. So we weren't in front of the issue, and by the time we realized it was an issue, the issue was standing on our heads. Now, we can sit up here and we can wait till the cows come home to decide that we're gonna pass marijuana business. We can wait until there's a marijuana business next door to your house and folks is getting lit up. Okay, we can wait till then. Do you decide that you want to do something about it? Because what I've learned so far in this position is change is okay until it affects you. Okay. I can tell your neighbor to cut his grass, but if I tell you to cut yours because yours too high, then there's a problem. We have to be in front of these things. We need marijuana ordinances, period. And that's going to be a long process. honestly, to tell you the truth, I think there needs to be a separate committee on marijuana. Because right now, based on the number of people that are contacting me talking about marijuana businesses, they're gonna think this is the place to get high. Now you already know this place you can strip, right? You already know that, right? You can do that. So now this will be the place to strip and get high. Strip, get high, get drunk. Is that a song? Strip, get high, and get drunk? No. Oh, and yeah, you can pull some slots too. Well, yeah. Is that what we're trying to create? No. Okay. No, I'm not saying that we should not, I'm not going to say that we should not have any businesses that sell cannabis or cannabis-infused products or anything like that. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm not saying that we should. I'm saying that we have the ability to regulate it before it becomes an issue. That's really what I'm saying. What was that?
Let's regulate.
So we need to do so because the communities around us, they're doing it already. And so when they do it and we don't, that's how they land right in the middle of our city. Okay? So we need those and more. How can you help? Of course, register to vote, participate in the census, block clubs, community policing. Those are things that you continue to do. Start a block club, encourage your aldermen to support the agenda. In order to be a successful city, we must think and act like a successful city. It takes a lot of work to do this stuff. And y'all didn't tell me, so I'm mad at each one of y'all. It takes a lot to do this. But I love what I really honestly, I do. I love what I do. I wouldn't trade this for the world. No. I love to be able to talk to people. And yeah, we got, thank you for yeah, I just love it. So, like I said before, or a speech I gave the other day, I may not always make the mark, but I will always try.
All right.
Okay. Please allow me to be human. I am. I try to show you a sillier side of me, because honestly, the majority of my life is just full of fun. Like most of you, I love my children. I adore my daughters. I'm learning to adore my grandchildren. I'm getting used to that one, but the bottom line is I'm just a human being, just like you. I deal with the same issues. Give me 1 second. I'm dealing with the same issues that you deal with. I drive down the same streets. They drive down the same streets that you drive down. I hear the popping off of the shooting in the middle of the night. And honestly, I don't have a brick house. That really gives me a concern. Okay. The fireworks. Oh, I want to address the fireworks real quick. First of all, number one is, personally, I'd like to just, if people could respect the fact that fireworks are against the law in the state of Illinois, that would be nice. When I was a child, we weren't supposed to be doing it, okay? But yeah, so we had firecrackers and we had sparklers, okay? And we were getting actually in trouble for having fireworks and sparklers. But I was 12, 11, okay? But see, here's the problem. I see grown people, okay, grown people, some elected officials put their stuff on Facebook, okay, of them going and getting fireworks illegally and setting up a whole hour-long fireworks display with industrial, commercial grade fireworks. Now try being a senior and you sleep and you got to hear that mess all night long. Okay, try being anybody else, but especially a senior. All I had to deal with was firecrackers. I got in trouble for firecrackers and sparklers, but I was a kid. So my first question is, why, and I know it may not apply to any of you, but you may know someone. Why are you with your grown behind going out here and getting these commercial fireworks and then setting them off next to your neighbors and acting like you don't give a damn? Why are you doing that? And then when somebody says something about it, You want to get attitude. Like there's a problem. You are the problem. We need to address that.
What about?
I'm saying go around and confiscate all of them. Honestly, in my opinion, I'd like to get a big old Beckham bus. Okay?
After you confiscated.
Go pick some folks up, okay, on the 4th of July as they popping all that stuff, take them down to the police station and have a conversation. That's what I'd like to do. And I don't know if that can happen now, but that's sure enough what I would like to do. Because until we get people to understand the severity of what they're doing, the seriousness of this. George, you talking about houses getting on fire. Yes, they can catch on fire with industrial grade, commercial grade fireworks. You don't need to go to Soldiers Field or Navy Pier on 4th of July. All you got to look up in the Harvey sky and you will see it, at least at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But it's up to us to stop it. It really is. And I know that, I know I'm not crazy. I know that there's somebody in this room that knows somebody who was putting out the fireworks and y'all was watching them too. Stop. Stop. I had a lady couldn't sleep for 3 days because they were setting off that nonsense. 3 days. Yeah, yes she did. Now, that's another one, no offense, Chief. Because I like I said, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like that response either. Well, you know it is 4th of July. What kind of response is that? Has anybody been told that before? So we have to change it. But if we don't demand it of ourselves, it's not going to change. Yes, ma'am.
Also, the caveat to that is that sometimes they use those fireworks to mask gunfire.
Right.
You shoot, so you can't tell if it's a firecracker or somebody actually let off rounds.
I don't even think they're that intelligent. I think they're just fools. I'm just telling you. I don't think they're that intelligent. How is it? You know, let's do like the Italian job and make sure that we, you know, we're going to coordinate the firework boom with the. But no, they ain't doing all that. They're just stupid. Period. That's it. They don't give a damn. And they don't give a damn of how it's affecting people. I'm sorry, y'all, but I get a little irritated every now and then for those who didn't know. And that's the problem. And we got to do something about it. Miss Moore, you going to say something?
Yeah, I call the police about a firecracker. Sometimes the things be so loud they shake your house. And when the police came, the police did come after I called them. They went and told the people, be careful with the fireworks because your neighbor is complaining. Why you want to put me in danger like that?
If I thought what you were saying wasn't true, I know it's true. And that's the thing about it. Look, one of them things blew so loud, I jumped out of my skin and was standing next to myself. That's how bad it was. Okay? And you're right. And then they'll say, hey. You know what I'm saying?
But the people over there, they come over there shooting all those firecrackers things. They don't even live there. Most of my neighbors are senior citizens. And they handicapped, and they come over there harassing people. For what? Go back where you live. Why are you coming over here?
Because they don't want to do it at their house. They prefer to do it at yours.
But you know what? You be encouraged to call the police. But when you get a response saying your neighbor is complaining, it makes you skeptical of calling the police. Because you put me in harm's way.
And so did everybody hear that? Yeah. So those types of things are the things that we're trying to change. Okay? Which is the reason why I told you to call 911 again. I don't want you to stop calling 911. I don't want you to stop reaching out. I want you to give us an opportunity to fix the situation. I have had situations since my time here in the city of Harvey where I've had police responses that weren't quite the way that they should be out. Okay? But now we're in a situation where somebody is listening, and I can promise you, we are going to make those changes. Okay? We're going to start, give me just 1 second, George. I see you. We are some of our employees need customer service training.
Yeah.
You know, they need training on how to deal with the public. I get that. And we're gonna start instituting some of that. I need more training. The city administrator needs it. We all need more training to develop our skills of dealing with those issues. Just give us the opportunity to fix it. Because like I said, all the things that you're talking about, it's unfortunate, but man, I've gone through them too. You know, we're in this together, and we have to realize that we are going to go up together or we're going to go down together. George, and that's going to be the, I think, except for you, and then I want to let my colleague back. Yes.
My issue with the police department is I'm concerned that based on the attitude of the operators that are answering, I really don't believe that they're actually forwarding that information on, because the attitude that I get when I call in, they're like, okay, all right, we'll get somebody over there soon, or, well, you know, they give it other excuses. It's just, and you know, we call 2-3 times on different things, and no police are coming. So I'm concerned whether the operators are actually transferring the information over to the police officers so they have an opportunity to test. Because I understand you're calling about fireworks, ain't nobody lying in the street dying, but if it can cause a fire, that's an issue. People running through our park on motorbikes, it can be an issue of hitting someone. You know, and if they don't come, I'm like, okay, what's the sense of calling them? I'm disturbed because they don't come.
And that is, but see, that relationship with the police, that is a relationship that has been created over years of police behavior.
Last week.
Hear what I'm saying? I'm saying that relationship is a relationship that has been created as a behavior over a period of years and a period of time. Okay? It is not something, even though it may have happened to you yesterday, once again, it is something that has been created over a period of time. We are trying to undo that. Okay? We're trying to work with that. The fact that we're sitting here talking about community policing, that we have a chief that is sitting here talking about real community policing, that's asking you to sign up and volunteer, that's having a national night out at the police station. The fact that those things are happening shows me that we're moving in the right direction. Once again, we haven't gotten there to where we want to be, but we're moving in that direction. I've had some horrible police experiences here in the city of Akron, writing a book. But we're not there anymore. Okay? What's affecting you now, I get it. Because it's happening and it's just as important. So I'm not trying to negate that. All I'm saying is give us an opportunity to fix it. We got new police. We got new patrol officers. It's one of the steps we're trying to do. We got new cars. It's another step we're trying to do. I just talked about customer service training and interaction with the public. That's another step we're trying to do. But you got to give it a chance to work.
All right. That's right.
Give it a chance to work. That's all I'm saying. And I'm sure that we can get it done. I have faith in our department. But I talk about my experiences because I want you to understand that I also understand what you're talking about. Yes, ma'am. And this is the last one.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask for a favor.
No.
Our kids, they still watching when they go back to school on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. Can you send officers to watch the bus stops? Because sometimes there's people driving and they don't respect the bus sign. The bus stop sign.
The buses. And I don't know if the officers can follow the buses around all the time.
No, just stay right on the corner when the kids getting into the bus. Sometimes they see the bus is slowing the kids and they're still driving. They not even let the kids walk into the bus.
Okay.
So I just, prepare students start Wednesday on this 151.
Yes.
And it's gonna be a lot of information.
Did you get that, Chief? Chief?
It's in 157
Did you get that?
Emerald,
Where?
Emerald.
167 Union?
157 Union.
157 Union.
8 in Emerald.
It's throughout.
Yeah, but see, the difficulty, I just tell you right now, the difficulty I'm seeing is gonna be able to cover all the buses.
No, just if they see a police officer running around.
Right. Who said that?
Out in certain areas.
We will try to address that, but I'm gonna manage the expectation. Because the simple fact is, I know that you're talking about just your area, because that's what's affecting you. But we got 6.2 square miles of that.
I know, it's for it.
Yeah, so we have to kind of figure that out. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's why I asked why they volunteer.
Yeah, there you go.
Get the driver's license, get the license plate of the person asking that person. Because if he did it once, he's gonna do it again. Get the plate, turn it in. The laws have changed for them now about passing a school bus and stop on. The laws have changed. The fines are bigger, they're now doing suspensions, licenses.
Okay. Ms.
I want to make that comment, what I talked about, it, one more comment, it's okay. It only take, how many minutes, 1 minute? Half a minute? Listen, I talk real fast. I apologize for being late. I just left a retreat over at the school district on trust and transparency. This is our second one that we set up. I've been on the school board since 1991 in Harvard School District 152 Board of Education. And just as he's having problems, we have them. Ours are lighter because we deal with it every year. I suggest to the mayor and the aldermen and all of them, my husband, to tell them, you need to be able to trust and be transparent. Everybody's got to work together with the city of Harvard for the betterment of Harvard. I don't always agree with him and he don't always agree with me. That's why I'm glad he's up here and I'm over there. So I'm just telling you right now, trust and transparency is what you guys need to do. I talked with Tim, I gave him the guy who developed the workshop, because if you have no trust and you're not transparent, you'll never be able to work together. This is my second one, and I'm volunteering. I don't get paid for the school board, but I love children. So that's what it's all about with me as a retired teacher for 32 years. Hearing what you're saying, I gave the information to Tim, who it was. Whittington's there. He loves it. We're doing a great job at the school district, and we're trying to build another school, which is Maya Angelou. And we can get some money from Springfield, and that's what we're working on. But I want to say to you guys, next Sunday is Mr. Zuccarella's picnic. It's over at Green Lake. We want you to come over. Everything is free, and I'm in charge and working with the senior tent. So if you got anybody that can volunteer for next Sunday, please see me after this, because we're feeding the seniors in a separate area from everybody else, and everything is free. We just tell you don't come with your family reunions, because we have people come out there and have family reunions on Mr. Zuccarella and eat the food. So thank you so much. Again, I apologize.
Alderman Wesley, you want to say something?
I do. I just want to make it very brief. You know, speaking as an alderman, and we talk about accountability. And this is, I have some residents here from the first floor. They hold me accountable. If they're calling the police and they're reluctant to give their address, I'll call on their behalf. But today is a new day. And we talk about customer service. And let me tell you what this man has done. This is the first time in 8 years that I have served. I can show you phone numbers that I contact his staff and they call me back. Talk to your alderman. They have the same resources as I do. This morning I contacted Rick. Rick was here, the superintendent of the street department. He answered me. Yesterday morning, I contacted the chief while I was shopping at Fairplay, and a resident of the 4th Ward had a question and approached me. I contacted the chief, he answered the problem. Your alderman has the same resources. Have your alderman's phone number in your phone. How many here do you have your alderman's phone number?
They don't give it to them.
And thank you so much for coming.